Good morning. You are listening to KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQT Brundale, and we are streaming at ksqd.org. This is community radio for the Monterey Bay, K-Squid, and this is your Saturday morning garden show in the garden. I'm Stephen E. Pop, and we have a full house in the studio here today. Joe Truscott is with us. Say good morning, Joe.
Good morning, everyone.
And there is Dr. Martin Quigley. Good morning, Martin.
Good morning.
And we are very pleased to have, for the first time in our studio with us, Mr. Jeff Nilsen, the owner-proprietor of Bokay Nursery in Salinas.
Good
on
morning.
Hitchcock Road. Good morning, Jeff. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Glad to be here.
Pleasure to have you. Well, I don't even know exactly where to begin, Jeff. I guess the first thing would be to say that your nursery has been there longer than any nursery that's still on its feet in the Salinas area. And I think that's a testament in itself.
Yeah, well, you could probably see the wrinkles in my forehead and my to indicate
just beauty
that.
Marks.
Having been there. Tell us a little bit about your own background, where you're from, where you grew up, and how you got to be the third generation owner of Bokay Nursery.
Okay, well, born and raised in Salinas, 1956. Grandfather purchased the nursery in 1952. He was previously a baker. He was part owner of the local garbage company.
Oh, wow.
And a mailman. And how he decided to be in the nursery business is still somewhat bewildering. But he bought the nursery in 1952 from what we think is a Hungarian family with the name of Bokay.
Oh, no kidding.
I was going to ask you about that.
Oh.
And what was it, a nursery at that time also?
It was a nursery,
Okay.
yeah. And I believe there was even a previous owner that had started it as back as 1917.
Wow.
That's only anecdotal history. I don't know that for a fact. So, yeah, then my dad came along, and after getting out of the Coast Guard, he went to Cal Poly and learned or what they used to call ornamental horticulture.
Right. I still call it that.
Yeah. Now it's, I forget what they call it now, ecological horticulture or environmental horticulture. That's what it is. Anyway, he graduated from there, came back, took over sort of the landscape division, developed the landscape division, and made a decent living doing that. And I came along in 1956, and I started pulling weeds when I was 3 and digging ditches when I was 4.
Oh, boy. Okay. And on the chain gang by 8.
All the fun parts of a nursery.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was we did hang out there quite a bit, and then my brother was also involved, and we grew up kind of playing in the greenhouse because it was always warm in there, and transplanted roses and all kinds of stuff. More seriously when we were teenagers.
Right. Was the footprint of the nursery still the same? Did you expand? Did you buy property next to it?
That's a good question. The original nursery was 2 doors down. Well, you know where we are now, 30 Hitchcock. The original nursery was 16 Hitchcock, which is 3 doors down from the gas station that's on the corner. Which used to be the original spring school that was called, the corner was called Confederate Corners. I don't know if you'd ever known that.
Oh, yeah. That became a real big controversy when Google posted it as Confederate Corners. None of us knew what the hell that was.
Right. So there was a petition that changed the name to Springtown, but the name of the school that was at the gas station was called Spring School. So anyway, we were 3 doors down from that. Then 1976, I believe it was, my dad purchased no, I'm sorry, in 1971, he purchased this new spring school, which is at 30 Hitchcock. So that's where we moved to about in 1975, 76. And that's where we are today.
Yeah.
Now that building there looks like it's somewhat of a historical building as well. It's the original building going back as far as you can recall.
Yeah, we think it's 1930, late 20s, 1930s vintage, coming up on 100 years, probably old, and solid as a rock.
Is that where the Montessori school is?
It's where, Montessori was, and they moved out 4 or 5 years ago, and now there's a daycare center in the 3 classrooms that we have.
Yeah.
It works out okay.
Oh, that's really fascinating. And what about the farms around you? Have those always been field crop, row crop fields?
Yes, all forever. In fact, I believe there's a building moratorium as like at Blanco Road, but it's like no more housing west of. I think it's maybe Blanco Road.
And how many acres do you have?
It's 1 3/4 where the building is now, and we still own the 16 Hitchcock, which we lease out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So having grown up essentially in the nursery, you got to learn all the plants, and probably didn't need any schooling at all after that. It was.
Well, yeah, I did learn quite a bit. In fact, I ended up, after a couple of years at Hartnell, I went to Cal Poly for a couple of years, and I was able to skip about half of my plant ID classes because I had known half of them
already
or more. Yeah. So that was hence the party part of Cal Party.
How many years did it take?
2 years. I was a 2-year
Not
program.
bad then.
Yeah. And I actually ended up, I never did actually graduate. I came home to work spring because it was spring quarter. My dad and my grandfather said, we need some help around here. And so I came home, and I never went back to finish. Yeah,
absolutely. You have such a wonderful perspective of the nursery business, and so many things have changed over the years. What kind of things stand out to you?
Well, back up a little bit. I thought I wanted to be a mechanic.
Oh.
High school, hot rods,
Can
horsepower.
always fix a tractor and a lawnmower and a weed whacker.
Right. But I always had kind of a love for plant, grew things from seed and did some cuttings and what have you, even when I was in high school. And so I don't know, it seemed to be a lot simpler then, and there was more old-fashioned kind of gardeners, which seem to be lacking these days as far as customer base.
How interesting! And the customers themselves have less awareness of gardening. Would you say that?
I would say yes. If there was a percentage, I would say probably 30-40% don't have a lot of gardening experience, which is great because we that's what we're there for. We want to answer questions, educate as much as we can.
I would imagine that over the years, too, seeing the different trends in different types of plants, what was popular in everybody's garden in the 60s or the 70s, and then these things change over time, and we get influenced by Sunset Western Garden book or something, but you have to have seen a lot of that change happen as well. That's right. I could remember at our old yard, I would say half the nursery was probably
tam junipers.
I was going to say junipers everywhere.
We
right?
sold for, I can remember selling them for 99 cents on sale.
For a gallon.
And
For a gallon.
Raphilepis and
that's it.
The sort of the original varieties of Raphilepis and just real generic stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we call it boring, but they were reliable. Those plants didn't die.
That's true. Yeah, which is why they were so. Since, of course, go after the Sunset Western Garden book, then things began to expand, more interest and more unusual stuff, which is it's great because that's our forte, really. I mean,
well, I have to say, as a regular visitor to the nursery and a customer as well, I'm always fascinated by the different species and varieties of things. It's just so. What am I trying to say? Unique. I find things there that I don't find in anybody else's nursery. Is that something intentional, or is that just good luck?
Yeah, that's intentional, somewhat. Yeah, we try and keep the unusual, and especially since the Australian invasion, 30 years ago, 30 or 40 years ago, that's been fantastic because odd, unusual. South African stuff, which has pretty much always been around for a long time. But the Australian invasion really brought the unique stuff.
Explain what that might mean.
It's it would be the introduction of, so let's say. Grevilleas, yeah, but 45 years ago there was one Grevillea noeli was just about the only thing available. Then came a few more, and then a wider range. Actually, thanks a lot to Santa Cruz. UC Santa Cruz Arboretum.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
There's your man.
Well, we were licensed to grow them in quarantine for 5 years to see if they might have invasive properties, and that was important then because we had so many plants coming to California before the border controls and the Department of Ag was controlling it more. So we tested all these South Africans and Australians on the Arboretum grounds. And they're still there, some of the original plants.
Oh, yeah, we loved it. We had several California Association of Nurserymen meeting up there with, I think there was a gentleman named Brett Hall.
Brett Hall is still there.
Sure.
He's still there?
Still working.
Wow.
Well, he's retired, but he's still working.
Oh.
No, and so the South African things, the protea and those things were all
not so much the not so much the leucospermums. I'm just thinking of things like gazanias and euryops and
of course,
sort of the more the generic.
Well, the euryops, the golden shrub daisy in everyone's yard in the 70s to the 90s.
Yeah, but they're out of fashion now. You see
They
old
are.
hedges of them.
They are.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, but it's reliable and it blooms in the winter. And oh boy, I mean we still sell them. Because it's, one of the few things that's in full bloom in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
Well, as a full-service nursery, as Bokay is, I also enjoy the fact that I want to go in and, say, do something in a Japanese garden theme, and here are all the camellias, all the azaleas, bamboos, acers. Is that also an intentional by design?
Yes. It is, yeah. We like to carry that. Although azaleas and rhododendrons, Japanese maples to some degree, we struggle with because of our saline water, hence the name Salinas. We got salty water and leaves burn, and then heavy clay.
Yeah,
you get Phytophthora root rot on rhododendrons, azaleas.
They're Ericaceae, the blueberry family. They want acid soil.
And acid soil. So we have lots of acid soil amendment. Yeah.
That you have to keep applying.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. We keep a plentiful supply on hand because, that's...
but they will grow here. with the right help.
Sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But I see them. I'm not sure who the consultant was, but in my neighborhood in North Salinas, somebody planted this rhododendron right in the center of an unprotected front lawn as the specimen plant. And every day I drive by it and my heart just breaks because I know they paid a fortune for that plant and it's not going to live.
It's not. No, it doesn't look like it's going to survive.
No.
No, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why so many people appreciate you, Jeff, because you'll let them know. Don't plant that. In your own kind way, you'll let that. Yes, it looks nice in a book, but it's not right for here.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we try and steer people in the right direction because, gardening can be an expensive experiment if you don't ask enough questions.
Or you could say that horticulture or gardening is the triumph of optimism over experience.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
you have to try things and push the envelope a little bit in your garden.
Yeah, I love pushing it, especially with the subtropical stuff.
Oh, dangerous though.
And you've got a greenhouse full of nice things there.
Yes,
as well.
we do, and I've found some pretty reliable things. There's even a tropical rhododendron, which I can't seem to find anymore. Several tropical rhododendrons.
Is it from Southeast Asia, from northern India? Yeah. They go to higher altitudes. That's why they flourish.
Yeah, beautiful orange.
Yeah. Well, there's the American native one from the East Coast. A couple of deciduous azaleas, like the western ones we have here. But again, they like acid soil and moisture.
Yes. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the landscaping business, and if somebody gives you a call, what's the whole procedure that you found the safest way? Somebody says, look, I just bought this new house. Come and help me put in an English cottage garden.
Well, the first thing I would do is say, well, let me come out and take a look. We do, we can do free estimates, but we don't do free consultations. So, you could expect to pay somebody to do a design or a sketch, which has gotten considerably more expensive. And if you got a mortgage, that'd be one of the challenges. You have a mortgage and you're going to pay, 10% of the cost of your house, which used to be the common figure, 10%
or rule of thumb thing.
Rule of thumb, that can be pretty pricey. So, but would be to do a consultation / estimate, draw up a plan if necessary, and then quote an installation. So that would be the procedure, which we've kind of cut back on because there's not a lot of people that want to, with the economy in general, I would say these days has cut into people's budgets.
That's true, but they still go to the big box stores and buy a shrub or a herbaceous plant because they like the flower, and they buy it because of that flower, but not with any knowledge of what the conditions it needs to survive will be. And so you have these odd eclectic mixtures of things that the plants themselves are innocent, but they're being put in places where they're not going to thrive. And for the big box stores, that's fine because they'll sell more.
Right. Yeah. I even find myself, which I do occasionally visit a box store.
Me too.
You really have to see what's out there.
That's it.
And sometimes it's just cringing, looking at that plant, knowing it's going to die, and somebody just paid $50 for it.
We had that conversation the other day, didn't we?
Well, there's so many plants sold here that would rather be in Seattle or Philadelphia. Or,
just the level of care. The box stores, generally, because of their agreements with their vendors, they don't really have to worry about it. They don't take care of it.
They don't. Yeah.
Plus, they push to sell things that have flowers on them. So you have little annuals, and it's a marigold plant that's 3 inches tall, but it's got a flower on it. Americans don't do any homework, so you have to see the flower before you buy.
But-
And
right.
people buy a plant because it has a flower on it, instead of the one with the better branching or whatever.
We probably also shouldn't forget to mention that you have a full line of fruit trees and roses. I won't call them bare root because they're potted up.
Yes, that's right.
And looking wonderful. Is that a year-round program that you're doing?
Yes. Well, of course, we buy them bare root. The roses we can up right away because they start growing immediately. You buy them even in December and can them up, and boy, they just ready to go. So
Smart. Yeah.
that's why we don't keep them bare root.
And you've had really good suppliers, too, of the roses, because we went through that horrible period with all kinds of virus rootstock, and they pretty much cleaned that up.
Yes, yeah. We had some virus last year. I can't remember which grower it was, but it's not their fault. It moves in.
Yeah.
And
Well, they're different. The people who are selling the product may not be the person who has raised it in the field. Or created it or propagated it. And so somewhere along the line there was an issue. And the same thing with you often talk about the kinds of chemical treatments that are put in by the wholesalers.
So at the growing ground, the actual production sites. Yes.
And so you get a plant that may have some issues with it. But
Or
you
may
don't
have
see it.
addictions to too much fertilizer, for instance. A lot of large commercial lots of plants have been forced into early bloom or into quicker growth, and so they get to the new residential area that's going to be their home, and they don't have all that chemical input, and some of them really just fail because they're used to being fertilized every week or something like that.
yes, right.
One of the things that I know about you, Jeff, is that over the years, you do buy from local, smaller growers, and that's something I, as a former nurseryman, truly appreciate.
Yeah.
It's something that you are continuing to do, and I think I've seen some of the trucks coming through your place. They're fairly reputable establishments.
Yeah, several from right up here in Santa Cruz and Watsonville, even as close as Castroville,
And
Carmel
that's-
Valley.
The community benefit of buying locally is really, really great because you get things that are acclimated to your climate. As again, we beat on the box stores a lot, but they get things from Tennessee or Florida or Oregon that may not be acclimated here.
Right. Yeah, that is totally helpful. Have it acclimated for sure.
I would say one of my favorite bouquet stories of my personal stories is going to the nursery once. I was looking for a specific plant.
And
as I'm there, I walk in the gate and there's this scent. There's this smell, and oh my God, it was like cloves and something else, and it was just delicious. I looked around, and there was this rose that you had strategically placed close to the gate. It was Ebb Tide is the name of the rose. It's a purple, deep,
Right.
kind of a purplish rose. I was sold on the spot. I mean, do you find that there are certain things like that? They usually say sight, sound, and smell or something. How do you approach?
Yeah, well, that may have been just a happy accident that it happened to show up there. So one of the staff liked the color and liked the smell and said that ought to be up in front. But Ebb Tide is, in fact, I just ordered some more yesterday because it's.
Popular, is
so
it?
it's popular, yeah. And Weeks does.
Is it a Weeks rose?
It's a Weeks.
Tom Caruth probably was a hybridizer.
Maybe. And a Star does it too. In fact, I ordered them from Star.
Okay.
Some these new ones on little patio tree ones. But Weeks does a combination one, which is I can't get enough of. Julia Child and Ebb Tide.
Oh my God!
grafted on the same plant.
That butter
of the
yellow
tree.
with that purple. Oh,
It is.
wow!
Wow.
Yeah, it's just I could sell every one of 200 if I could get them.
Gosh, I have to look. Yeah, Julia Child supposedly gave her blessing to that rose with her name because it looked like butter.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
And it's,
I want to get back to the fruit trees though, because I've always been curious. A nursery, you'll order maybe a range of popular fruits, a pear and an apple and a plum, but if they don't sell, do they continue to get bigger and bigger in your backyard? I mean, what kind of pressure do you have accumulating stuff that doesn't sell, and especially trees because they're big?
Yeah. Well, yes, that happens. In last couple of years, I've had to cut back my fruit tree ordering because the volume isn't selling.
Yeah.
So, but we do end up canning them up probably in about 3 or 4 weeks, maybe even less with weather like this. We put them in containers, and they sit there, and we sell them throughout the summer. And then about October, we have a sale. And start putting them 25 down to 50% off.
Well, are those mostly coming from Dave Wilson or other nurseries?
Yeah, pretty much all from Dave Wilson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, definitely a
And where are they located?
down south.
Oh,
They are in east of Modesto. I believe it's in Houston. I think it's at Houston, which is close to Riverdale. It's on the Tuolumne River. I think I was
That's
telling
right.
you the other day.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Well, we're gonna take a real short break here to do a little bit of business, but we will be right back. It is just a marvelous conversation we're having with Jeff Nilsen here. Do stay tuned. We will be right back. Jeff, I almost hesitate to ask this question, but do you have a garden at home?
I do, but don't look too close.
why is that? Overcrowded?
Well, it's overcrowded, and it doesn't get as much maintenance as my customers.
Yeah.
That's the old proverb of the cobbler whose children have no shoes. I think is how I used to feel about it myself. Yeah.
And it's a little hodgepodgey because I find something new
that's not a
every
hodgepodge.
week that I
We
want
call
to
that a candy box.
It's
One of
it
this
is
and one of
just-
that.
There is literally a new variety of something every week.
Well,
then
you
when
have
you
to
come-
test it out at home, of
Yes.
course.
But when
Yes.
you come home and your garden is full of these wonderful things, you have something even newer and better, something has to die or move, right? How do you cram something else in there?
My brother used to make fun of me because he goes, "You're gonna transplant that. You're gonna put another tree in." I
And
said,
you
"Well,
say,
yeah,
yes.
I'm gonna take this one out and I'm gonna sell it at the nursery, and then I'm gonna put this other one."
Sure.
That's a true gardener. You can move them along.
No, I don't want to ask you if you have a favorite plant. That's like, who's your favorite child, exactly. But is there a particular, let's say, theme or grouping or that you just love to do a landscape design for? Is there something along that?
Well, I love the South African, the
Leucadendrons,
drought, even mixed with California
Right.
natives. Seems
Ceanothus and things.
they can go together quite nicely, be in the same sort of hydrozone. And so I guess those leucospermums are just, and Banksias, they are just, so unusual, and like
sometimes
the
too
spaceship
funky.
dropped them off,
That's right. Sometimes they're too funky for the
For-
American palate.
yes,
Those
right.
Huge fruits that never fall off.
yeah, they are, they're just, fantastic. So I guess that would, if I had a favorite,
Okay.
but I have camellias. I have a bunch of, oddball perennials and California natives. And, so my yard is I guess you would call it a hodgepodge. But
Where do you live, actually, in Salinas? What part
I live in the south side.
In town?
In town, yeah.
Oh,
right,
no kidding.
Right, just probably 2 miles from work, right next to Notre Dame Palma High School. Actually, right between 4 schools. which gives us a little bit of traffic problem
Yeah.
in the morning. But
I'll have to do a drive-by sometimes and really check out what's grown there.
check out my hodgepodge.
Take notes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If it's good enough for Jeff, it's got to be good enough for me.
Oh, yeah. I got boulders years ago. I brought, boulders in and integrated them into the walkway and built an arbor. And it's
Are those
fun.
all kinds of things that you do for clients when they want stuff? You'll find a place for a rock, and you'll find a.
Yes, we do that. We've had to cut back a little bit just because I need to pay more attention to the nursery itself.
Right. Right.
But we still try and do that. Yeah.
But you've had some really steady staff there at the nursery, and they've been very, very loyal and dedicated to the customers. So.
Yes, the customer base is loyal, although they are getting older, as we do.
Yeah, that's curious because we're all sort of concerned about the next generation or the next two generations coming up, and are they going to like gardening? Are they going to want to? Can they actually do it if they're in an apartment and they can't afford more? Those are some real challenges facing all of us.
That is a challenge, yeah, and the learned staff is diminishing when you have the computer digital revolution where kids, if they're going to go to college, are you going to go get a computer science degree, or are you going to go into horticulture?
Yeah,
and settle for a lot less money?
I think Martin was talking about the number of botany majors in universities.
It's collapsed almost entirely. There are hardly any botany departments left. They were merged into general biology, and then the zoology swamped them and took them over. So landscape architects, when they went into AutoCAD, computer-assisted design, had to drop their plant courses because they didn't have room in the curriculum for them. So we have a lack of expertise in what were traditionally plant-based sciences. But I think also the urbanization of our population, people not having more than a balcony, for instance. That's why I'm into container gardening. You can do a lot with containers if your balcony can stand the weight. But we are getting away from the American population that had at least grandparents who were farmers or parents who gardened. The tradition of home gardening has shrunk a lot.
Yes, so true. Yes, a lot more apartment dwellers, and which I guess has helped generate the more dwarfy type plants,
exactly.
For container gardening.
Right.
Yeah. And you also really have a very nice arrangement of indoor plants, of house plants. They're available, and anybody who's listening to this who feels that they'd like to develop a green thumb, start with a couple of house plants.
Well, but house plants have their own risks. Sometimes they don't like house heat or air conditioning, and light is always a big factor.
Yeah.
The thing to remember about houseplants in general, they're mostly rain-story, understory things. And in the rainforest, the canopy intercepts so much of the light that only 2% of it hits the ground. So you have these leafy, thin-leaf plants that tend to be showy, and they can thrive in very low light, but they must have some light. And most people get houseplants that get all leggy and weird, and their ficus plant has one long stem that fell on the floor. And so there are some things to keep in mind. Where did they come from, and what do they need?
Yeah. But as houseplants get older, I mean, you can adjust them. You can cut them off.
You can prune them and start them over.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, all of those sort of plants like pothos and
but
devil's
people are
ivies.
afraid to do that. People are afraid to cut back severely, to take the whole leader out of a rubber plant and stick it in next to the old part.
Yeah, right.
It'll grow a new tree, or fill out the older one at the bottom. But people don't know how and where and when to take a cutting, and so they're afraid to make that cut in the first place.
Yeah, hopefully they come and ask us because we'll tell them how to do it.
Right. And while we're talking about specific varieties, talk to us a little bit about succulents and low maintenance plants in the yards and the kinds of things you've been recommending to people who really don't have the time anymore to care for a garden.
Well, yeah, speaking of the lack of time, the succulents are my, I would guess, would be my weak point because there's a zillion of them.
But the rules are simple.
Echeverias alone, I mean, it'd probably be 10 pages of
of different varieties.
Different varieties.
Many, and they're hybridizing them all the time. Especially Echeverias.
So, but they were huge, of course, during the drought years. That's, when people were tearing their lawns out and, putting in succulents and drought-tolerant stuff. So, and there is some really unusual looking succulents that are coming along now.
Right, euphorbias and those sorts of things.
The euphorbias,
You can get height. Succulents come in all sizes, and not just little round things. And there's some that are shrub-sized, and some, like aloes and euphorbias, can get to almost small tree size. So it's not necessarily a flat landscape.
Right.
The main thing about succulents is people tend to overwater them, whether they're house plants or outside. They assume they must need moist soil all the time, and that's exactly what succulents don't like.
Yeah, right.
So that's a case, a little bit of education. But plants don't need to sit moist, but you get this vision of people with their house plants, like African violets. They keep them moist.
Right. Yeah, and our heavy, our heavy clay soil in Salinas is
challenging,
almost a death sentence if you plant it straight in.
Right. What have you suggested to amend the soil when it's so heavy?
We use usually a cactus mix or humus, and definitely organic matter.
Always organic matter.
Always organic matter, just to keep that clay from sticking back to, forming a pot.
Right.
So mounding, I particularly like, creating some contours in the landscape instead of the flat land thing that you mentioned.
Interrupt you, sorry. The mounding is predominantly then for the drainage purposes on heavy soils like clay.
Yeah, for drainage.
Right, right.
Yeah. So you actually plant it on top of the heavy soil and then mound it all up with with stuff that it really wants to.
Yes, right.
And I find too with succulents here, a mulch of gravel rather than bark mulch is the best thing. It reflects the heat, but its most important function is it keeps the base of that plant from hitting any soil. If you have 2 inches, 3 inches of gravel, plant through that, the roots will reach the soil. And most succulents don't have very extensive roots. They don't need that much soil area.
But they'll find it.
They will find it, and they will thrive because of the reflected heat from the gravel and the stored heat in the evenings, especially here when you have the coastal fogs.
So you're talking about 6 inches maybe of rock?
No, 2 to 3. It's just like a mulch cover. So you do your contouring. You almost set the plants on top of the dirt and then put the gravel around. I prefer to spread the gravel and make my landscape contours and then plant individually through the gravel, scoop it away, put the gravel back under it, and it keeps the bottom of the plant from rotting in the rainy season.
Yeah. Here's another landscape question, Jeff. What do you do with when you come into a yard and you see it's full of oxalis, it's full of veld grass and cheat grass and all this
he
other
did
stuff.
He did say you have to pay for consultation.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, do you just sigh and say, I don't know how much I can help you?
Well, in a world without glyphosate, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
Although we still recommend spray, and there's triclopyr is another broadleaf herbicide that works really good. It's not something you want to roll around in, but glyphosate is still available. We just try and use it very sparingly because again, not something you want to roll around in, but it does. I mean, I don't know how you could ever control kikuyu grass or Bermuda
lived with that for many years,
without using something.
You know, since you brought it up, the evil glyphosate. Since they went off label, it's expired, so it's the patent on it, I should say. So you can get a product called Glyphos that has none of the spreaders, the stickers, or all of the other adjuvants that were thought to have been what causes problems for people with glyphosate. That's a big can of worms, which we probably don't want to open right now. But it is available.
It is available.
And you guys, like I said, you're full service. You've got just about everything there. This is the season also, Jeff, when people are looking at their vegetable gardens. Are you stocking up with veggie starts?
Yes, we are. We have started. We're hoping to dodge another frost or cold patch.
43 degrees this morning.
I know.
41 at me and mine.
We put our tomatoes out. Outside last night. We left the basil and the cucumbers inside.
Smart.
But it's a little bit of a roll of the dice this time of the year.
Our last frost is supposed to be on St. Patrick's Day on the 17th. So
that's right.
Average, but that's an average.
Right. Yeah, I always keep that date in mind too.
And
but
do you have problems? I used to have a lot of difficulty in my nursery with the veggie starts. At a certain point, they're no longer in demand, and what do you do with them?
We start giving them away about 4th of July.
Oh, no.
I had to do that too.
Pay attention, listeners.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
But don't wait. Get them now.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that you often have, and I know Joe has been there on occasion doing rose pruning demonstrations with the Rose Society, you have special events and workshops at your nursery. Anything coming up in the near future? Or
don't have anything planned. I'd love to do a bonsai one, or even a general pruning, which can be applied to any time of the year.
I can set you up with a bonsai guy from local. But,
can you? Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
What are some of the special workshops you've done recently?
We did the rose. Actually, we've done the rose, and we've done a little stepping stone mosaic thing, which was not even plant related.
But to make your own.
Make your own stepping stones with little tile pieces, and just because one of the gals at work wanted to do it, sounded like fun. We did one a couple years ago, and it brought out a bunch of ladies, and so it drew a crowd. And we sold a few plants, but it was more of just a fun event.
And do you gear up with seasonal items at Christmas with poinsettia and all that sort of thing too? Is that
a little bit?
You try to track,
a little bit. Poinsettias are another crapshoot.
I'm cringing over here in my chair, so forgive me.
I remember you used to be
the red plague.
Oh boy!
But just there are other holidays, folks. There's Easter. There's Easter coming. There's all that,
and we have giftsy stuff. Oh yeah, Easter lilies. Somebody told me that was the biggest. That was one of the growers that used to be in Salinas said Easter lilies were the hardest thing to time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's when you're moving them in and out of the garage, or giving them light and heat during the night.
Yeah.
Or conversely, they're ahead of schedule, so you got to put them in the cool garage so that they will slow down and be perfect on Easter.
When I was at Matsui, we grew thousands of them, and we'd keep them in the freezer. Then we bring them to the cold damp room and we'd sprout them, and then in the boxes, moving them back and forth. Are you going to sell it as a cut? Are you going to sell it as a potted? Yeah.
Did you have to take out the stamens? Because I spent my childhood de-stamenizing those damn white lilies because the customers didn't want those yellow smudges.
Joe's got some fun stories about that.
Oh, yeah. My days of delivering flowers, carrying them off to the church, had no idea about the stamens.
And the right pollen
and
will
I came
smear.
back, and I was covered in yellow dots and smears all over the place.
It was all caveat emperator for us. Once you buy them, they're not our problem anymore.
I used to love to make the kids smell them and put their nose right in there, and then come out with the yellow dot on their nose.
I've mentioned more than once of how many wonderful finds. It's kind of like going on an Easter egg hunt every time I go to your nursery.
Yeah.
I walk around and something jumps out at me. My God, there's a Datura metal, or there's a Gunnera or something.
And also the wide variety of summer bulbs and other things that are
potatoes. You've got potatoes in.
Potatoes, onions, tomatoes.
We got to get some Prince of Orange back in, though. That's my absolute favorite potato. So
Prince of Orange. They did not have any.
I know.
Yeah, they didn't have any that. I'm sure someone had them, but
someone. Do you do special orders for folks if they are looking for a specific plant and you don't have it? Can you?
We try.
It? Yeah.
We don't promise, but we try.
That's a lot of time commitment, though.
It is. We have a special order book. We put them in there, and we have probably 25 different vendors.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That we can source from, and we try.
Have you ever gone down the route of starting things with seeds and buying the seeds and then growing them into a seedling plant? I mean, or is it just not worth the time?
A little bit, very little. Some things that are hard to find. We've tried. We're kind of not set up for seedling propagation, but we've
it's
done
another whole business, really. Yeah.
Yes, we did get some cassia didymobatria. It's called. It's called a popcorn cassia. The flowers smell like popcorn.
Oh right. Yep.
They
Buttered
grow
popcorn.
really fast, and we couldn't. I think nobody grows them because they will grow from a 1 gallon to a 5 gallon in about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
And then from a 5 gallon, you got to throw it
Boot
away.
them up.
So we finally found some. We started some of those. We'll have a crop of those coming along. They're
Cool.
fun plant.
They are. And you do have, I'm glad to say, not everyone appreciates this, but my wife very much appreciates the last chance section of the nursery across the parking lot. The 75% off last chance plants.
I've gotten a couple of good roses.
I've gotten some great plants out of there myself. You betcha.
Yeah, last chance before the burn pile.
Yeah, gosh.
Yeah, I hate to throw it in in the burn pile.
No.
I'm trying to think if I've missed anything. You can get your soil mixed bags of soil and soil mixes. You've got fertilizers. There's all sorts of garden implements and fertilizers, pest control things. What am I missing? You do sod as well. You do.
We do
lawns?
sod.
Yeah.
The little garden gifts and accessories.
All kinds of specialized fertilizers and specialized organic material.
Good stuff.
There's quite a thing. I mean, it really is an acre and a half of wonderful wandering around.
Yeah.
And,
That's good. It's good you mentioned the organic thing because now the organic revolution. There's a lot more organic fertilizers and herbicides. Since we were living without glyphosate so much, they don't work quite as well. But there is some organic weed control, which is hard to come by.
It is.
But,
it is.
We do have methods,
other than going out there and burning it.
Or the manual,
Right.
Well, it's really been great to have you here, and I know you came all the way up from Salinas, and I know what a challenge that is.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's fun. Good to have a conversation.
Absolutely. Any last thoughts for listeners, and anything special you want to mention about the nursery that's you're bringing in some special plants or some kind of a?
I can't think of anything except looks like spring has sprung.
Sure has.
The plants are confused.
The plants are confused, and I would say it's planting time. The sooner you get stuff in, all the vegetables, tomatoes and peppers will probably just sit until it warms up. But other things, roses, fruit trees, general ornamentals, the sooner you get them in the ground, you get to take advantage of that spring push.
And maybe one more rain.
And right.
Yeah.
I guess there is some in the
Well,
future.
Distant future.
You've told us all about your age. Are you going to retire anytime soon?
I'm probably going to have to, under pressure from my family.
So what's in your mind next for the nursery then?
Well, I would say I would hope that somebody with an interest in plants and the nursery business would come and make me an offer.
Uh-huh.
You know, somebody that's not going to be a corporate, giant. Although I would consider.
Well, listen, you have survived. Your longevity is amazing. There have been 4 or 5 nurseries that I'm aware of in the area that have come and gone, and Bokay is the last man standing, so to speak. Which is
a great place to visit.
Absolutely a wonderful place. Jeff, thank you so much for coming in.
You're
It
welcome.
was